How does Joe Mazzulla squeeze some grit out of a bunch of nice guys? And thank you to the New York Knicks for letting Jaylen Brown fix himself. It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT. Karalis recap the madness every game, every practice. Prime time, Deb and D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them Monday through Friday. Bonus podcasts on the weekends when they play. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section there. Share your thoughts with your fellow everydayers, the people who are with me 5 days a week, and have some fun there in the comment section. I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've written a couple of books about the Celtics, and I've covered the team for about 20 years now. Later on, we'll get to that New York Knicks just giving Jaylen Brown an unprecedented opportunity to improve himself. But first, I went through practice, and I was asking I think the biggest question for the Celtics this year, and that is, how the heck is Joe Mazzulla going to take a bunch of guys who are finesse players, basically, a bunch of nice guys, and turn them into a gritty bunch with chips on their shoulders that has to play as hard as they do? It's a tough question to answer. That's why I need Tom Westerholm to help answer it. Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm it's good. It's always good to bring in the person with the answers, and I have them always. So
always Tom with the answers. That's what I think.
Tom underscore answers is what
Tom, that's absolutely yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the answer?
To everything?
Well, I mean, let's start with the meaning of life and work our way down.
Okay. All right. Well, ball is life, obviously.
Okay, good. Okay, next.
All right, next. Cool. Yeah, no, I don't have answers here. I look at these Celtics. I see a bunch of nice guys. I think you're right. Nice guys. I don't see Jay Crowder out there.
Right.
I don't see anybody who's going to boop John Wall. I don't. So I don't know. You convince me. Who's going to boop John Wall?
Where's John Wall working now? Is it NBC? Maybe is Blake Griffin there? No. Maybe Scal will.
I like that. Contract work. Freelance it out a little bit.
So, okay, let's do it this way. On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 being like the night Brad Stevens, and 10 being Dylan Brooks. What is the highest number currently on the Celtics? Like in the Celtics rotation, what's the highest number that they have on their team, and who is it? Yeah, right. That's
a tough question.
It's a tough question, right? Is it Jaylen?
We don't know enough about like Boucher yet, right? Like,
I mean, maybe he can get himself there, and he did have like a little bit of a dust up in the preseason. Jaylen's been the one that's been, willing to, get into like a push and shove. And I'm not talking about you got to be dirty. When I talk about gritty, I mean the Celtics need to just go out there, be willing to take the contact, not shy away from the contact, not be annoyed by the contact, not be annoyed by the work, or like they have to be the aggressors. They have to be the ones who annoy the Golden States of the world. They have to go out there and be the ones to get into people's face. So I don't know. You look at the starting lineup. Payton Pritchard. I mean, he works hard, but is he? Where is he?
He was my next answer after Jaylen, and like I don't know. We don't.
Okay, but what number is he? He's nowhere close to Dylan Brooks.
No, he's probably what? Like I would say he's a 6.
A 6?
I think he's a 6.
Because I would top out at a 5 on him, but that's fine.
Yeah, I would say like Pritchard is not afraid of contact. Pritchard Pritchard will seek out some contact here and there. You know, like if he gets under he doesn't mind like kind of burrowing his way into people and like, you know, like just kind of.
Yeah.
So I would give him a slightly above.
He has some dog in him.
He has dog
he's
in
up there.
him.
I've been praising his box outs. That's part of this.
Yeah. That kind of
sure. Thing. Okay. Pritchard's in there.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you wanted to say a 5, because it's hard to imagine Payton Pritchard ever getting into a shoving match with someone.
Yeah.
Like he's not booping John Wall.
Right. He's not afraid, but he's also not the aggressor.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I'm not looking for Dillon Brooks. I'm not
Right.
saying the Celtics need a Dillon Brooks. I'm not looking for a guy that crosses lines and gets dirty sometimes. That's not what we're looking for. But what I'm saying, in the fact that we can't even find anybody that's maybe past the 6, I think Jaylen is in there. He's in that mix. I think he wants to believe that he's the guy when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything like. I can't think of anybody else that's close. So what Joe Mazzulla needs to do with these guys is to get them to play that gritty is going to be the word. And maybe there's a better word for it, but it's again, not dirty, not towing the line with dirty, just like, hey, get in there. And hey, if you foul somebody, you foul somebody. So what? And if they get annoyed by it, who cares? Like that attitude of like, we're going to do what we do. If you don't like it, tough. Not trying to hurt you, but if you don't like it, I don't care. And I think the Celtics have been this finesse team because they've been allowed to be. You know, like I think you tell me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
Every team wants to be a finesse team, right? You graduate to finesse team. Finesse team is the gated community you move into when you get a big promotion and a pay raise and you move out of the tough part of town and you're like, we're going to move to the suburbs and you can be able to ride your bike in the street. And I don't have to, you know, sometimes you forget to lock the door at night and it's really not a problem.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the finesse team. Everybody wants that. You become the gritty team because you got no choice, right? You take the apartment in the neighborhood, you got like, that's the one you can afford. And you got to carry your keys like they're a weapon and you got to have your head on the swivel. That's the gritty team. You embrace it because you have to. And I'm just curious to see how the Celtics embrace this because I think they're starting to understand that they have to.
I like that analogy because it brings to mind the Isaiah Thomas teams that were absolutely
exactly.
I mean, like they were walking down the street. They got a pit bull, you know, because you gotta have something that can bark real loud in your house.
They were the ones that made the other people cross the street.
Yeah.
They were coming. You know what I'm saying? Like that's and I don't know if the Celtics need to be that, but the Celtics do need to be like, I'm just gonna keep an eye on a few of these guys because you know.
What I really like is that Danny Ainge then tried to start a business so that he could get his team out of that neighborhood, and he really tried to bring in, you know, Kyrie, Anthony Davis, KD, and that business just didn't work out. You know, I mean, you know, like, you know, like he got kind of lucky and was, you know, and then like Brad Stevens was able to finish the job for him, but like that business fell apart badly. Did not have his margins in order. All kinds of stuff went wrong there. So anyway, I really like that analogy.
So the other I made 2 analogies on Boston Sports Journal. That was one. The other one was like the Celtics. You talk about that they have the dog in them. Well, I have a dog. He's like the sweetest, cutest. Like he's a big dog, and like he can bark. He can bark, and like maybe people are like, "Oh, that's a big bark. I don't want to be near the house." He's gonna guard the house, but when he's done, he comes up and he wants belly rubs and stuff like that. And Joe needs to have like a little bit of junkyard dog in him. He needs to like have people be afraid, like you got to put up the sign, beware of dog.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Like, that's my question. How does Joe get these guys there to walk in, flip a switch? Because they are nice guys. They are Sam Hauser. He's just this aw shucks Midwestern, you know, Wisconsin kid. You know, every one of these guys, for the most part, if I had a daughter, if she brought home basically any one of these guys from the Celtics, I'd be like, oh, well, this is a fine young gentleman. I approve of your choice of boyfriend. Like That's not exactly the team that's not exactly the type of guy that you're like, oh yeah, he's going to go out there and he's going to, get in there. And if the, foul a guy, and if he falls, and I don't give a damn. Let's think about that.
Okay.
Think about like, how does Joe get them there? We'll try to figure that out when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Built. I just talked about where you live. If you're going to rent, you'd rather buy, but sometimes you got to rent. And if you have to, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards you can actually use. I wish this was around when I was renting, especially when I was living in New York, because I paid a lot of rent. And if I had it through Built, I could have earned flexible points that could be redeemed toward hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood. With Built, your rent finally works for you. You're earning points every month on something you already have to pay. So whether you're grabbing food at a local restaurant or heading to the gym, you're still earning rewards. It's all about in your neighborhood. Built has made everyday life feel more rewarding. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's joinbuilt, BILT.com/LockedOnNBA. And make sure to use that link so they know that we sent you. Today's show is also brought to you by Skims. When I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. My wife was like, you know what? You are going to love them. She's a big Skims customer, and she's right. My wife's always right, and she was right about this. They fit well. They're super comfortable. They stay where they're supposed to stay. I love wearing them when I go to the gym because they are nice, cool. The men's line offers something for everyone. Boxer briefs, classic briefs designed with perfect balance of comfort and style. I was wearing them when I played basketball. I felt comfortable. They were helping me move out there. But whether you're going up against the Celtics coaches or maybe just running a few errands, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I have ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. That's skims.com. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, I'm pretty sure you will. Select podcast in the survey and select this show in the drop-down menu that follows. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Fantasy Basketball with Josh Lloyd. Josh is the best of the best when it comes to fantasy basketball podcasting. You're going to do so great in your league when you listen to Locked On Fantasy Basketball because he's just going to give you those tips, those ads, those drops on a daily basis, multiple times a day. So check out Locked On Fantasy Basketball wherever you found this podcast. All right, Tom Westerholm, how does Joe Mazzulla figure out how to get these guys to be the types of players that he needs them to be mentally?
I mean, I think it's really hard. I honestly, like, I'm not trying to be like defeatist here against this project, this undertaking, right? But I do think, I mean, it's hard to change your nature, right? And I think that a lot of this comes down to there are teams that there are guys who are, kind of play to a teammate. Like there might be a teammate who inspires a certain level on some teams of toughness, who inspires a certain identity, who inspires like talk about like a Dylan Brooks. It's like, young players who play on a Dylan Brooks team might be influenced in a certain way to play a certain type of way, right? And the problem is that, like we just said, the highest we see on this team is like a 6. So I guess the question is, can the Celtics, can Jaylen, because I think Joe Mazzulla can do what he can, right? I'm sure he'll have analogies, I'm sure he'll have plenty of fun little examples and stuff, and like words of inspiration for these guys. But a lot of it just comes down to like who you are and who your best players are. Mm-hmm. And if Jaylen is a 6, that's not a bad starting point, right? That's a decent starting point. But like, when your next best player is Derek White, who is, a very like you said, a very respectable man, like
Fine young man.
a fine young man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you got to go up and down the roster, and like you said, you just see fine young men everywhere you look. I think that's tough. I mean, I think, you know, not like I think it's kind of like the rebounding thing. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a solution there is for the rebounding. I don't know how much of a solution there is for the fact that, like, who's going to be pushing and shoving, who's going to be like getting in there. Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of on Jaylen. I think it's on Jaylen.
Yeah. I
think Joe and Jaylen have to get together and be like, hey, look, go get thrown out. You know what I mean? Go do you got to do something that's going to set the tone. And like, I don't know what it is. Man, I focus on the, like I say, get thrown out. I focus on that. And I don't know if I should be, because it is about the hustle plays, but like Jaylen has to be the guy diving on the floor. Jaylen has to be the guy getting in there and rebounding. And he says like he's doing that stuff in practice. And so I don't see it. I don't know. But we have to see it in the games. He can't be just hanging out on the perimeter. He has to be crashing. He has to be boxing out. If you show the film and Jaylen Brown's not boxing out, then they have no chance of doing this. Because if Jaylen is just turning and looking, then what's the point? What's the point of everybody else boxing out? You know, Jaylen has to at least start the game. First shot up, he's got to be in there. Take a foul, push it, you know, get underneath a guy, do something, set the tone. Like, I am here to rebound. I'm here to work hard. Do something to show everybody, look, I'm Jaylen Brown, right? I at one point had the richest contract in NBA history. I'm not in here for my own health. I actually have a choice. I cannot do this. And he still has to play me, but I'm still doing it. And so if I'm Jaylen and I'm boxing out and we watch film and Luka Garza isn't, then Jaylen can be like, hey man, if I'm doing it, you're doing it. And that has to be where it comes from. And all the starters and all the returning guys, but Jaylen especially. If Joe needs a dog, Jaylen needs to be the dog.
And I think it's got to come from this. It's an interesting thing with Jaylen too, right? Because I think it's got to come from a sincere place. Like, and I think it's got to come from like a genuine hunger. And I'm curious to see where that hunger level is with the top players on this team, right? With your Jaylens, like, yeah, how hungry are you to win right now this year? Yeah. Like, because I mean, we talked during the summer about like, hey, this is Jaylen's chance to kind of rock out a little bit because it feels like, I don't want to say a throwaway year because that does a disservice to a lot of very decent players on this roster. So it's not a throwaway year, but like, you know, a year with lower expectations. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it does, you know, kind of comes down to like, hey, take that personally. You know, like you gotta like this is like, if you're Jaylen, like, oh, you think this is your expectations are lower for this year, even though I'm here. That's interesting. Yeah. You know, there's got to be kind of this genuine desire, like not even desire. There's got to be this genuine, like, I don't know, those Celtics teams like took so much offense to everything. Yeah. Before, you know, like the Jay Crowders and all that. Everything was a slight, was an affront, was like they were just like mad about everything. Kevin Durant didn't choose us. Oh, really? He went and joined them. Oh, wow. Yeah. Like, you know, they were just mad about everything, and it's like you got to get back to that mental space. Which I don't know. It's not a particularly healthy mental space. Like this group of guys who seem like they've been to therapy and have like really kind of, you know, self-actualized and done all this great stuff. It's like, I don't know. I mean, that's better for you. I'm glad that they're like that, but I do feel like there's got to be kind of this desperation and this like almost unhealthy desire to win that forces you to do unhealthy things with your body. Dive, get into the front row. Like, if like Jaylen's had injuries in his career, like, you know, if you're going to be flying around, like you might pick something up and you got to just, you know, right. I don't know, to have that, like that kind of edge. It's not always healthy physically or mentally.
Yeah. I wish I knew the comedian, because I remember seeing this clip about there's a comedian who's like, I want everybody to go to therapy and be well-adjusted, except for the professional athletes that I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, I need those guys to be maniacs. You know,
Also,
it's like,
we also need our comedians not to go to therapy so that they can continue to be
That's right.
messed up people. And
that's right. I've always said, to be the best of the best, like this elite, like super elite NBA, you can't be well-adjusted, right? You always have to have this one thing that makes you do the extra things that make you so damn good.
Yeah.
There's just, there are millions of people with the same physical gifts as, say, a Jaylen Brown. There are a lot of people, maybe not millions, but there are a lot of people with the same height, weight, can jump as high, but are horrible basketball players, because Jaylen has this obsessive thing where he needs to get better. He needs to do crazy things, like that whole story about him swimming at the BC pool. That's well-adjusted people don't do that.
Well,
stuff.
and the perfect example is Payton Pritchard, right? Where it's like there are a lot of people who are built exactly like Payton Pritchard, but not all of them are like in their garage for 10 hours straight.
In subways every day.
Yeah.
But he's got the best handle in the NBA, and it was like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. So somebody has to be a lunatic. Somebody has to be Joe Mazzulla. How can you put Joe Mazzulla as player coach and get him out there and be a lunatic? He would do it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And so it's going to be an interesting, if they can, the faster they solve that, and that could come out on opening night for all we know.
Yeah, absolutely.
The faster they get to that place, the quicker they're going to start figuring out how to win some games.
So to all the Locked On listeners out there, if we start just trashing the team on here and we just give them as much fuel as we possibly can.
Oh, interesting.
Can we start like a GoFundMe so that because you won't be allowed in the arena anymore. We're going to need some extra income. Can we get like a GoFundMe going, and then we'll push the Celtics up? Like, we'll do it. We can do it.
Oh, I have no problem doing that.
Okay. All right. Well,
persona non grata after that, but I will definitely not be playing against the coaches because I'll be bridged. Actually, I won't be bridged because I can't jump high enough for anybody to get underneath me anymore.
Right.
But I'll get hurt somehow.
So, all right. Something bad's happening.
Tom Thibodeau was at practice, and thank you, New York Knicks, for making that possible, because that was the ultimate unique opportunity for Jaylen Brown. That is coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. So you're getting the same quality service you had before a fraction of the price. Setup is super easy. You keep your number, and then you're up and running in minutes. Are you ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent of $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 GB on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA, Locked On NBA Game Night, both in the same feed. I will be there tomorrow for opening night, and Jake Madison and I will have the whole thing covered for the Wednesday Locked On Game Night show. That's what we do 7 days a week, cover every game in the association. Afternoon show, we'll be covering all the biggest stories. So make that your second and third listen after you're done with this show. Tom, I was shocked when I turned around and saw Tom Thibodeau, or half of Tom Thibodeau. Shout out to Tom Thibodeau for getting out there and dropping a few LBs. It's amazing what not having to coach the New York Knicks does for your health. He looks good. Oh, I'm sorry, you're muted.
Oh, that's okay. It's amazing what not having to coach an NBA team can
do. Right. Yeah. He looks good. He's out there. He was talking to Jayson Tatum. We asked Jaylen Brown about it, and he was pumped. And he said, like, this. I like the way he put it, because it's a super unique opportunity. This is the team that eliminated you. They just bounced you in the playoffs, and it was an upset. And you know, injuries aside, whatever, Celtics still should have won. They should have won those first 2 games. They should have won that series. Jaylen was talking about, you know, Tom was telling me, you know, basically the game plan. You know, here's what we saw. Here's how we covered you. Here's what we tried to do. And Jaylen said, look, if you're humble enough to listen, you're going to get better. So thank you, New York Knicks, because if you didn't fire this guy, Jaylen wouldn't have gotten like this heavy dose of like reality, right?
Yeah.
Like this is heading into the first game of the season, having an opposing coach, a high level coach like Tibbs, who had the game plan and was able to execute it, to have him be like, yeah, these are all the things that we did. These are all the tendencies that we saw with you. That is amazing. Like Jaylen must go home tonight and be like, I would sit like in a sensory deprivation chamber and just let all of those words soak in, because that has to be the most incredible kind of scouting report that you're ever going to get.
It really is. I mean, it's wild when you think about it, because I mean, for one thing, you know, when you think about it in terms of the fact that like Tibbs is going to be paid by the Knicks for quite some time still. Like he's, you know, he was on a pretty long contract with the Knicks, and he's going to be getting money from them for quite a while. And he's just out here telling, you know, the Knicks rival, like the Knicks rival superstars, like, so here's how we beat you. Like,
yeah.
You want to get better. Incredible. Here's what I would do, because it worked. I mean, it's a very unique opportunity in that way. I mean, like, I agree with you too. I love Jaylen's comments there. Like, if you're humble enough, you can improve. Like, I mean, that's a great mindset to have, whether or not Tom Thibodeau is in your film room, right? Like, if you're humble enough, you can improve. If you're humble enough to look at your flaws and to like identify your flaws, examine them, you know, put them under a microscope, and then go out and try to fix them. I mean, that's the key, right? That's growth mindset at its best.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, what better person to inspire that growth mindset than, like you said, like the head coach of the team that limited you and eliminated your team from the playoffs. I also thought it was funny. I don't know if you saw this. It happened. Like I spotted it just before we started recording, but Mark Stein reported that the Knicks then tried to pursue Joe Mazzulla, or like they were looking for pathways to pursue Joe Mazzulla this offseason. So just a triple dose of oof for the Knicks. Like,
wait,
not only
I missed that. Was that on Twitter?
I saw it. I think I saw it on Reddit, but yeah, Mark Stein on his one of his on his Substack said that it had been whispered that the Knicks likely did some back channel exploration to determine if there was any pathway to pursue Joe Mazzulla, and there obviously was not. So fired Tom Thibodeau, had a very protracted search that really didn't make a lot of sense based on firing the coach that just got you to the Eastern Conference Finals. Missed the Celtics coach who you wanted, and then the coach you fired went and helped the Celtics coach and the Celtics superstars get better at the things that you used to beat them. Just what
a measure of revenge.
Not
what a measure of revenge from Tibbs. Like, oh, you're firing me? Oh, you're paying me? So the New York Knicks just paid Tom Thibodeau to give Jaylen Brown the full scouting report on how they guarded him.
Correct.
That is incredible. That is just incredible. And like, I knew
under the supervision of the guy they didn't get. Yes,
that's right. That's right. It's just amazing to me, like, just the way it all panned out, because I knew that he was going to get fired if they lost that series. And I thought winning that series, they might've been like, well, we can't do this now, but they did. And like, Tom Thibodeau, he knows he's going to get another job at some point. Just chill out, relax, maybe do some media. Like, I'm sure he's going to show up somewhere. But now he's done this tour. I know he showed up at like 3 or 4 different camps. The coaches that, like, Taylor Jenkins was at one of these Celtics practices. There are NBA coaches, fired NBA coaches. I like the fraternity that they have to be able to go from one to the other and just pick up some things. And I know Taylor Jenkins was, has helped out with the Celtics, defensively and some of their mindset stuff. Like the Grizzlies haven't been like the best defensive rebounding team. So he's kind of, how do you deal with that? And, they had some success under him. So what a great person to bring in to, hey, you had a bunch of small guys and you didn't really rebound well. How did you do it? And to get these guys in there and pick their brains, it makes you a better team. It makes these guys better players. And Jaylen, especially, like, I'm at a point where, he is about to turn 30. Like he's turning the corner. He's got, I don't know how much he's got left. I'm sure he's got some, 5, 6, whatever years left. But when you're at that point in your career, it's like, how much better can you get? Right? Like, your improvements are going to start being, how do you manage some of the athleticism that you're going to lose? And that's your improvement is transitioning to this old man game. To have this kind of scouting report come from the outside and to come from the guy that just beat you, like, you have no choice but to take it. You have no choice, because what can you say? He just beat you. He just figured out he defended you well. That closeout game, you were horrible. I know he was playing on one leg, but that, when, it's like when the guy who robs you comes in and it's like, here's how you fix all your security stuff. What are you going to be like? Now, what do you know? You just broke through all of my security stuff. Yeah. Thank you for the advice. I appreciate that. Yeah. So it's like the white hat hackers, like those guys, like that's what Thibodeau is for the Celtics right now. So I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. I'm very curious to see specifically, because Jaylen wouldn't tell us, but I want to know specifically what Jaylen.
Imagine being a fly on that wall. Like,
oh my god, like, what was going through Jaylen's head? Like, oh god, I didn't think anybody saw that. Or like, like, oh, I thought I could break through. I didn't, because it's a great job, like, noticing that. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Happy to see Thibs. Happy to see him looking good. It's health above all else. So
that's right. That's right. Good for him.
So, all right, we'll see. Tomorrow, Tom, you want to come back tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be back.
All right, let's do tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll do the official season preview. How's that? Not like we haven't been previewing the season.
Right. For the first time, we're going to take a look ahead at this
Boston Celtics season. Well, we'll figure out how to do the Celtics preview, but we'll have some
more answers then. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. All right, Tom. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
I do appreciate all of you who have been listening on the regular basis, who are my everydayers, Monday through Friday listeners, watchers on YouTube. Very much happy that you have chosen to do so. Thank you so much. If you're a new subscriber, if you're here for the first time, I hope you enjoyed the show. I'd love to have you come back a few times a week, maybe 5 times a week, maybe 6 or 7, depending if they play in the weekends. I will be here. The show is always free. It's available everywhere you get a podcast. So make sure you are subscribed. Get into that comment section. Share your thoughts with everybody. Let me know what you're thinking about everything that we said. And then share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.